Immigration in the United States is a complicated and controversial issue. Since the founding of the country, people have come from different countries in search of a better life and opportunities. Immigration laws, however, are always changing and are complicated. This leads to many people coming into the U.S. without proper legal status. While some people call immigrants who come and stay in the U.S. without the proper papers illegals, many consider this term offensive. The more acceptable term is undocumented, since they do not have the correct legal documents. It is estimated that there are more than 11 million undocumented people in the United States. While some people will say there is no reason for immigrants to be undocumented in the U.S., there are limits on the number of green cards or legal permanent resident cards people from certain countries can get. There are also long waiting lists, up to 14 years in some cases, for people coming from certain countries to apply for legal status in the U.S. Additionally, there are a limited amount of visas or permits for people coming into the U.S. with manual labor skills. Millions of undocumented people have been deported or sent back to their country of origin under President Obama. In 2013, the U.S. Senate passed an immigration reform bill. The law adds extra border security along the U.S.-Mexico border and also makes it easier for immigrants to become citizens. The bill, which also has to be approved by the House of Representatives, has not yet been presented or voted on by Congress. Because of this, many are asking President Obama to take action to protect some of the undocumented, many of whom have been in the U.S. for many years, and have children that are U.S. citizens. Veterans Day is an official United States holiday observed on November 11th every year. While Memorial Day remembers those who have died while serving in any of the branches of the U.S. Armed Forces, Army, Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard, Veterans Day honors all members of the armed forces, especially the living. As a U.S. federal holiday, government offices and schools are closed, and most people have the day off from work. Banks are also closed. If November 11th falls on a Sunday, then the holiday is observed on the following Monday. The holiday was first observed after World War I, which ended on November 11th, 1918. It was called Armistice Day then, and was more about celebrating the absence of war and honoring those that served in that one war. It didn't become known as Veterans Day until 1954, after World War II and the Korean War, when there were many more members of the armed forces. Many restaurants offer free meals to veterans on the date. There is always a special ceremony at Arlington National Military Cemetery in Washington, D.C. This ceremony involves a wreath being placed over the grave of the unknown soldier. Many major cities also hold parades on this date. The U.S. flag is usually flown at half-mast as a remembrance to those soldiers who have died, and many ceremonies observe a moment of silence for the same reason. In Canada, the holiday is called Remembrance Day. One symbol of the day is the poppy flower. The red poppy flower is said to represent or be a symbol of the blood of soldiers. Many people wear or give out poppy flowers on the day. Labor Day is observed on the first Monday of September. It is a holiday meant to honor the contributions, both economic and social, of U.S. workers. It has been an official federal holiday since 1894, meaning that government offices, including post offices and schools, are closed. It is also widely thought that Labor Day was created as an alternative holiday to May Day. May Day, especially in the 1800s, had become a protest day when workers marched to demand better rights and working conditions. There were often strikes that ended in violence. At the time, the U.S. government was afraid that May Day was being led by communists and was having a bad influence on workers. Some people feel September was also chosen since there are no other holidays between 4th of July and Thanksgiving in November. On Labor Day, there are usually parades in major cities around the country. Politicians and labor leaders make speeches and hold press conferences. Labor Day is also considered the unofficial end of summer. Many people celebrate Labor Day with trips to the beaches, picnics, and barbecues. Many towns and cities host fireworks on this day. Many people also take their last summer vacations around this time. Labor Day is also the beginning of the professional and college football season in the U.S. Labor Day has also become an important retail holiday. Many stores have Labor Day sales to coincide with the start of the school year for many children in the U.S. This means that many store workers, while their holiday is being celebrated, have to work long hours. Thanksgiving is a holiday celebrated by many people in the United States and Canada. In the United States, it is celebrated on the fourth Thursday in November and marks the start of the Christmas season. Some people celebrate Thanksgiving to remember the first harvest of the Pilgrims and Puritans, groups of people from England who immigrated to North America in the 1600s. Some people recreate the first Thanksgiving and dress up as Pilgrims, Puritans, and the Native Americans who are said to have helped the new arrivals find food to survive their first winter. Most people, however, see Thanksgiving as one day a year to reflect upon what they are thankful for. Some families will sit together and take turns saying aloud what they are thankful for. An important part of Thanksgiving is families coming together. Extended family members often travel long distances to share the day with their loved ones. In the United States, Thanksgiving is the busiest travel day of the year. People travel in planes, trains, buses, and cars to share a very special meal, Thanksgiving dinner. What most Thanksgiving celebrations have in common is the food. On Thanksgiving, many families prepare large, elaborate dinners to share with friends and loved ones. Many of these dinners use ingredients associated with the fall harvest, like cranberries, potatoes, sweet potatoes, corn, and blueberries. Roast turkey is the traditional meat served. It is so common that some people call Thanksgiving Day Turkey Day. The turkey is usually served with gravy and stuffing. Pies are usually served for dessert. The most common pies served are sweet potato, apple, pecan, and pumpkin. Thanksgiving is not just celebrated in the privacy of people's homes. Every year, the President of the United States pardons a turkey, saving it from becoming someone's meal. In New York City, Macy's, a department store, holds a large parade with huge balloons of various cartoon characters floating down the street. California is the largest state in the United States of America. It is home to more than 10% of the country's total population. It also has the largest education system in the country. The college and university system is divided into 4 parts. Those parts are the University of California system, the California State University system, the community college system, and private institutions. The UC system has more than 230,000 students at its 10 campuses. It is considered the more prestigious system in the state. It includes top universities like UC Berkeley and the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA. Both schools rank in the top 25 universities in the country, with Berkeley in the top 10. A degree from the UC system is highly sought, and the academic standards are higher than the other systems. They are also more expensive. The California State Universities counts 23 universities in its system. It is a diversified system that includes 2 polytechnic universities and a maritime university. These schools offer vocational and maritime education, but also offer traditional academic programs. The system's enrollment is approximately 450,000 students with about 45,000 faculty members. The California Community Colleges system is the largest systems of higher education in the state and the world. It boasts 112 campuses and serves approximately 2.4 million students. It offers transfer degrees, vocational training, and associate's degree programs. California is also home to a large number of privately owned and operated schools. These schools have no ties to the state school system, but some do accept transfer students from community colleges. The most notable and prestigious schools in the state are Stanford University in Palo Alto and the University of Southern California in Los Angeles. After middle or junior high school, U.S. students go to high school. Going to school is free in the United States, including high schools. Students do not need to pay tuitions, and even textbooks and lunches are free. Of course, we are talking about public schools. If parents choose to send their kids to private schools, they need to pay very expensive tuitions. High school is the last 4 years of school that students in the U.S. are required to attend by law. High school students are divided by grades. It begins at 9th grade and finishes with 12th grade. Some high schools, even public high schools, have admission exams or an application process. Public schools admit students based on where they live. In order to successfully complete high school, students have to complete a series of core classes including math, English, science, history, a foreign language, and gym or physical education. Students usually can also choose to take electives or specialized courses in a subject that interests them. Some high schools in the U.S. have exit exams that students are required to pass, in addition to completing their courses in order to graduate and earn a high school diploma. A law called the No Child Left Behind Act requires high schools that get federal money to make students take a standardized exam every year. A high school diploma is required for students who want to continue on to college and is considered a minimum requirement for any jobs. High school's classes are designed to prepare students for college. Some high schools offer specialized skills so that students can find work after graduation without going to college. Those are called vocational high schools. In high school, some students have the opportunity to take advanced placement, AP, classes. These are college-level classes. If the students pass an exam after taking AP classes, they can get college credit. In high school, students move from class to class throughout the school day. The American community college system is a place for second chances. Community colleges are 2-year schools that thrived in California after the end of World War II. Many American military personnel were returning to civilian life after their service to the country. Some of these young people decided not to go to college after high school so that they could serve their country during that time of need. When they returned, many of them turned to the community college system in California to continue their education. The United States government introduced the GI Bill at that time, giving returning servicemen and women educational benefits to help them get back to school. Soon, community colleges and new school districts began appearing throughout the country. Community colleges helped ease returning military personnel back into college life. It was a low-cost, less stressful alternative to going back to a 4-year university. Today, community colleges attract students from all parts of the world. In California, a large population of students comes from Asia and Latin America. These schools provide a second chance to international students who may have experienced difficulties attending college in their native countries. American students who may have not done well academically in high school and did not enter a university can turn to community college for a second chance, too. Community colleges provide a much-needed resource for all these students. Former military personnel, international students, and high school students alike are all welcome. One of the best things about community colleges is that they accept anyone at any time. This means people who have not found what they want to do in life can try more than one area of study. If they don't like one course of study, they can always try something else. That is the beauty of community colleges. Public schools are available for kids from kindergarten through 12th grade, free of charge. However, many families choose to pay for their children's primary and secondary education by sending them to private schools. There are many different types of private schools and many different reasons why parents send their kids there. Some private schools are military type, and yet others are boarding schools where students live on campus. Some private schools are affiliated with a certain religion. These schools teach us specific faiths, beliefs, and traditions, as well as the regular academic subjects. There are schools run by Catholics, Protestants, Jewish people, Muslims, and Orthodox Christians. There are also private schools that specialize in teaching disabled students. Some parents choose private schools because they feel that they offer a better education than public schools. Others choose private schools because they offer a different type of curriculum. Waldorf schools, for example, only let children play and use items made of natural materials. Private schools are also called independent schools or non-state schools because they are not run by local, state, or national governments. They can pick what students to go to their schools. They do this through admission examinations and interviews. There is often an admissions application. Some private schools accept anyone who can pay tuition to send their children there. Some schools charge up to $45,000 a year. Private schools charge tuition because they do not get any money collected from local, state, and national taxes. Some private schools offer a limited number of scholarships to help pay for school. Many of these scholarships are need-based, meaning for students who can't afford the tuition. Other scholarships are offered for students with very good grades or for students that have a talent in a sport or art. In the United States, 43 states, Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands all have their own lottery. A lottery is used for states to raise money. Licensed stores sell numbered tickets, or people can pay to choose their own numbers. When you let a machine pick your numbers, it is usually called a quick pick. Many people play lucky numbers, numbers associated with birth dates, or other important numbers to them. The money earned from selling lottery tickets goes to pay for schools, roads, bridges, and other public services. Once a week or more, a drawing is held where the numbers are randomly picked. If your ticket has those numbers, you could win a cash prize. There are different types of lotteries, such as Powerball, Mega Millions, and Lotto. Powerball and Mega Millions are known for their large payouts. There are also instant lottery tickets that are scratch-off cards. The winnings tend to be less money, but they are extremely popular. In the United States, you can play the lottery or buy a ticket if you are 18 years or older. If you win, usually you have the option of being paid the entire amount in one lump sum or of being paid smaller amounts over a number of years. Lottery winnings are taxable, meaning the amount you actually get is smaller than the jackpot number. People can buy lottery tickets or play the lottery at many convenience stores. Lotteries are also very popular since they advertise. There are many television commercials, radio commercials, and billboards urging people to play. Lotteries have been controversial since they are essentially a form of legalized gambling. There is concern that it can lead to people becoming addicted to gambling. There are also illegal lottery games, usually run by some forms of organized crime. Once a child finishes 5th or 6th grade in elementary school, they graduate and go on to middle school or junior high school. This school is a separate building or set of buildings. Most students in middle school are between the ages of 10 and 14. The grade system continues in middle school. Middle school usually starts with 6th or 7th grade and ends with 8th grade. While they are less common, some elementary schools go from kindergarten to 8th grade. Most students are assigned a middle school based on where they live. However, there are charter, private, and specialized public middle schools that have an application process. The purpose of middle school is to provide a transition period between elementary school and high school. Middle school prepares students for high school life. In middle school, students don't stay in one classroom all day with one teacher. Students change classrooms for different subjects and have different teachers for each subject. In middle school, some students may even be able to choose some of their own classes, called electives. There is a set of core classes that all students have to take. These include English, math, science, and social studies or history classes. Gym or physical education classes are also required. A common feature of middle school is a homeroom, which is a classroom students visit at a scheduled time once a day or once a week. A homeroom teacher takes attendance and makes announcements of things students need to know. The homeroom also helps students feel like there is one common place and one common teacher they see regularly. This is to help with the transition from elementary school to secondary school. Once a student finishes middle school, they have a graduation ceremony and go to a high school assigned to them or a high school they picked. Columbus Day is observed on the second Monday of October in the United States and in some other countries around the world. For a long time, it was observed on a specific date, October 12th. It is named after Christopher Columbus, the Italian sailor who led 3 Spanish ships to claim new lands in 1492. There is even a child's poem remembering the date. It reads, "In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue." Some people say Columbus discovered North America, although not everyone agrees with this interpretation. For example, Columbus never landed on North America proper. He only got as far as to the islands in the Caribbean Sea. Columbus Day has been a federal holiday since 1937. Government offices, schools, and post offices are closed. Many Italians take the day as a day to celebrate their own ethnic heritage, since Columbus was born in Genoa, Italy. Columbus's explorations, however, were conducted in the name of Spain. Major cities like New York City and San Francisco host large parades. Some cities like New York City also hold a parade celebrating the Hispanic or Latino community. Not everyone thinks Christopher Columbus should be honored. Some states like South Dakota do not observe the holiday at all. Instead, they call the day Native American Day or Indigenous Peoples Day. In Hawaii, the holiday is also known as Landing Day or Discoverer's Day. This is because European arrival in North America meant the loss of land and lives for many Native people. Many people hold protests or vigils on this day to remember the Native Americans that were killed or enslaved as a result of the European arrival. Another name for the holiday is Dia de la Raza, which translates into English as Day of the Race. Not every parent looks forward to the day when their child goes off to school. In fact, some parents are not sending their students to school at all. Instead, they are choosing to teach their children at home. This is called homeschooling. Parents, caregivers, or private tutors educate children individually at home instead of sending them off to be formally educated in public or private schools. In the U.S., only about 3% of children are homeschooled. There are many reasons why some parents choose to homeschool. One reason is that some parents do not feel their children are safe in school because of bullying and a growing trend of police in school. Other parents want their child's education to be based on their religion or moral beliefs. Yet other parents feel like the education in school is not good enough. Homeschooling is also seen as a choice for families that live in rural areas and families that travel, like actors. There are many different ways to homeschool, and homeschooling allows parents to customize lessons based on their children's needs. Families can purchase textbooks to use or create their own materials. Some parents follow a philosophy called unschooling, which allows a child to determine when and how they want to learn based on their natural curiosity. Some worry that homeschooling means students won't have opportunities to socialize. To answer this concern, some families have created cooperatives, where a group of homeschooled students will learn and play together and participate in activities that would normally happen in school, like field trips and prom. Being homeschooled doesn't mean a student cannot go to college. Most colleges accept homeschooled students. It is important, however, for parents and students to create a portfolio or proof of what has been learned.